This conference will now be recorded.
Data transform. Okay. So last session we were discussing about the concept of data transform. And based on data transform, I have given you a business requirement, right? So we need to work on that particular requirement. For that, we need to create sections. And also, what is that? If you are talking to other people, please mute. Okay. వాళ్ళకి మాట్లాడద్దు వెళ్ళి చెప్పిరా. Okay. So next we are going to discuss about the practical requirement. Okay. Okay. On same level. So practical requirement of address details screen. So far we are aware of creating user interface forms where we have created sections in work class, right? And now we are going to see how to create a section in data class and access into work class. But before that, let me explain you the concept. See, as per the business requirement, I wanted to create a screen. I wanted to create a screen where I wanted to capture billing address details as well as shipping address details, correct? Then in the billing address, I have some fields, shipping address also have some, almost same fields. So what is the approach to do this? With the knowledge what you have so far, you should be able to understand how to create it. Okay. So where do you start? What are the different rules to be created? What is the first one to create? Data class you have to create. After data class, you have to create properties in the data class. Next, what would you be doing? Pages. Where do you create pages? In work class. How many pages you create? 2 pages you create. One is billing address, another one is shipping. You created 2 pages. Okay. Next, what would you be doing? You create section in work class with the knowledge what you have. How many sections you have to create? How many sections? One section create చేస్తారా? మీకు డేటా క్లాస్ సెక్షన్స్ చేయడం వచ్చా? చేసాం ఆల్రెడీ.
3 sections.
క్లాస్ లో చెప్పలేదు కదా. సెక్షన్ క్రియేటింగ్ ఇన్ డేటా క్లాస్ అండ్ యాక్సెసింగ్ ద వర్క్ క్లాస్. Work up to work class you are aware of, right? So you create how many sections you create with respect to work class? You tell me how many sections you create? 2 sections. One is billing address and another one is shipping address. 2 sections. After these 2, one more section is required. Do you need another section? What is that? Address section. So what do you do? Inside address section, you will be embedding billing address, shipping. What will be the clipboard structure for this? Given you make a transaction for this screen, what will be the clipboard structure? Py workpay dot billing address dot some properties, py workpay dot shipping address dot some properties. Clear everyone? This is the clipboard structure, correct? So now I am going to give you one requirement. You have to modify the screen by adding by collecting one more address type, that is office address. I want you to collect what? Office address. ఇప్పుడు చెప్పండి. Additionally, what do you need to do? You need to create one more page, you create office address, and then one more section you create office address. అయిపోయింది. I have given you one more enhancement. You add one more address here called permanent address. What do you do? Create one more page and then one more section, right? Total 4 different addresses you wanted to capture. You created 4 different sections, correct? And now let us change the design. Okay, I'm going to change the design now. How am I going to change the design? See here. You know about data classes, right? So I'm going to create, as usual, data class and properties in data class and section also in data class. Section, in this section directly, what are the properties? Door number, street name, like this. Like this, you have all the properties. Just hold on. How do I reduce this? Okay, like this. I created a section, everything is done. Now what do I want? Section is created here, one section. What is the name of the section? Let's say address wrapper. What is the section name? Address wrapper. This is the section created. Now I'm going to go to work class. In the work class, I'll create 2 pages. Billing address, as usual. Billing address. What is the other one? Shipping address. 2 pages I created. And in work class, I am creating a section called address. What is the section? Into this section, I am going to embed data class section. How do you embed data class rules? How do you access data class rules into work classes? I want to embed address wrapper here. Chapane. Data class, is it possible to access a section of data class into work class directly? Is it possible? It is not possible. Then how do you access? By using page. By using page, that is billing address page. What is the page name? Just for your better understanding, you're writing page. Okay, billing address page. At runtime, this will become billing address dot door number, billing address dot street name, like that. Similarly, one more time, I'm going to embed address underscore wrapper. Same section again, but this time the reference is different. What is the reference? And this portion at runtime will become shipping address dot door number, like that. How many sections I have created to add or to collect 2 different addresses? In this case, only one section. Now I am going to give you a requirement. Enhance this screen by collecting one more address type, that is permanent address. What do you need to do? You create a page. After that, embed the data class section into work class section by using page. Recording start chesana leda? Okay. So, and I have given you one more enhancement. Add office address also into this screen. So what do you need to do now? Create one more page, embed same data class section into work class by using page reference. One section is being used for 4 different purposes by using 4 different pages. This is called as multi-purpose reusability. This is called as, previously I told you, for properties. It is not only limited for properties. For any rule it is applicable. So every rule in Pega can be accessed by creating in data class for multi-purpose. That is the advantage of data classes. So far, whatever we have learned creating sections is not a best practice. The ultimate best practice is this one. What is ultimate best practice? Creating sections in data classes and accessing them into work classes by embedding using pages. But there are certain limitations. We'll see that. Okay, everyone clear? So this is the approach we are going to follow now. What is the advantage of in this approach? If I have to collect 100 different address types, how many sections I have to create? Only one. But in the previous approach, how many? 100. That is the difference. Understand? This is not only limited for properties and section, it is also for activity. Instead of creating activity in work class, if you create in data class, at the time of accessing, if you access by using page, any references inside that activity directly by dot will become page dot. Reference to page dot. Okay. So anyhow, this is the approach I'm going to follow to implement this business. Okay. Let's work on the practical part. Working with
data classes, shipping will.
the clipboard structure in both cases will not change, but the advantage is you don't need to create too many sections. Okay. చెప్పండి ఏం చేయాలి? 590. Fine. Okay. I have given you a requirement, right? Requirement is to creating address details form. Okay. For this, as usual, create data class, comma, properties. This is, we know up to this. Okay. Then create section in data class, that you call it as wrapper section. Generally we call it as wrapper. Wrapper rules means common rules which are used for multi-purpose. Okay. And then what do you need to do next? Create pages in work class, create section in work class, embed data class section 2 times using 2 different page references. After that is done, next what do you need to do? Create flow action. That is as usual process. But there are some of the other things that we need to know. Okay. I'll write down. I will tell you the reason why the sixth step after the practical is being shown. Okay. You know how to create data classes, right? You can create direct, even an application. You can create data classes by using data type wizard also. Okay. So where I don't define any keys and all. This is I'm expecting it to be organization data. ఏమేమి ఉన్నాయి ప్రాపర్టీస్? Add field. Yeah, you can add door number. Street name. What else? Okay, address line 1. Address line 1. Address line 2. You may add more number if you want to add. Okay. Game on time. Pin code already customer details form lo unnaya. Maybe you can include those things here. Done. I'm not defining any keys. It would have created data class properties in data class. Everything would have been done. Now create a section in the data class. Directly I'm going to create section in data class. Right click on this, create user interface section. Name of the section is address. Okay, so you can directly add properties. Drag and drop is also possible. So mapping controls is okay. You can drag and drop properties like this. Anything is okay. That's up to you. So this one, I'm not giving any header text. Okay. Let's create 2 pages in work class. Let me create 2 pages in work class. You know how to create page property? Phone name 11 na దగ్గర keys తీసుకెళ్ళండి. Okay, so page properties can be created from here itself. Okay, billing address. So here, if you're creating a page property, you need to choose this option, embedded data, and this is address class. Understand? These options will create page property or page list. If you select list of records, page list. If you select single page, page. Submit and add another. What is the next one? Shipping address. Two pages created. In the vehicle insurance class. So now create an address section. Right click on this, create user interface section. I'll show you those pages. Hold on. Billing address, shipping address, each page will have properties, just for your information. Okay. What is the name of the section? Address section. This is the approach to be followed. Look at here now. See, if you want to embed data class sections into word class, first you need to define those pages. Page property you created here, right? The same you need to define here. Okay, better I'll type. See, but this is a page property, right? You need to give a dot before. This is not, this is in py workpay, right? Py workpay dot billing address. This is exactly matching this one. This is referring to which class? You can see billing address page refers to which class? Address class. Same you need to mention here. Similarly,
Harsha, I am unable to hear you.
am I audible, everyone?
Yeah, Harsha. It's audible.
Yes, you are now.
Yes, yes, sure. Yeah.
It should be audible. Please check from your end. It's audible to other resources. Design tab. Now I have to embed a section into another section. How do I embed? You already know that, right? Embed section. Take embed section. This is the difference now. Here you go. See, when you are embedding a section into another section, you can see here. Use current page context means same class section you will include. I want another class, right? Use clipboard page. Use clipboard page. What is the clipboard page class? Not this. SBI data address. And now, what is the name of the clipboard page? Click the down arrow. You will see dot billing address. Select the same. After that, it is again adding a dot remove. And click the down arrow. You will see the sections. What is the section? Now, this is the way you will embed section into another section. Add a checkbox. So we need a checkbox also, right? Where is it? So use an OOTP property for checkbox. For checkbox, I did not create any property, right? Use, there is one OOTP property. Use OOTP property py select. What is the OOTP property? Py select or selected. Chuddam. Selected I ఉంటుంది. There is one OOTP true false property py selected. Okay. Option ఏంటి? Select is if both the address are same. Okay. After this, embed section again. Embed section again. But this time, what is the page? So we achieved what we are looking for. And make shipping address read only. Is it always? When checkbox is true. How do I make it? Presentation, read only, expression. What is the expression? Py selected equal to true. When that property value is true, and the property value of py selected is equal to true, means checkbox is selected. This should become read only. Otherwise, it will come to editable mode. Save. With the execution of, sorry, with this, you have created a section with billing and shipping. See, one section embedded, same section embedded 2 times, but each time the reference of the section is different. So inside section properties are door number, but at the time of embedding, I am using a page. So at runtime, this portion will become billing address dot door number, and so on. This portion will become shipping address dot door number. Let's go ahead now and create a flow action. Create process flow action address flow action. Okay, done. Next, do what? Next, create data transform. Data transform to copy okay, let's do it now. So let me create a data transform for this. Create data model category data transform. What is the name of the data transform? Let's say address copy data transform. Address copy data transform. Create and open. Pace and classes. Target. Okay, so I need to copy, not always, when condition. What is the condition? You click on expression builder icon, use a function, equals function. See, equals, there are 2 functions, equals ignore case. Upper and lower case of the value you want to ignore, and you can use this. When equals ignore case of, directly you can use this function. Py selected, right? If py selected value is true, means checkbox is selected. What does it mean? When checkbox is selected, we need to copy the address or not? Update page. What is the page? Shipping address. Here you need to choose with values from. What is the page? Update page, shipping address with values from billing address. What do you want to update? You need to add more properties here. Door number, billing address door number to shipping address door number, and street name, address line 1, address line 2. So this is when checkbox is clicked. On click of checkbox, we will call this. In case checkbox is clicked but unchecked. In case unchecked means otherwise. Otherwise, update page, shipping address. There is nothing like with values from. You will directly set it. Empty, double quote, double quote. So I will show you this practically. where exactly this property set will be done. Save this. Where do I need to call this checkbox? Sorry, call this data transform. On click of checkbox. Call this data transform. On click of checkbox. Let me call this on click of checkbox. Where is the section? So every time when we click on checkbox, data transform will run. You might be clicking checkbox where you may be selecting or you may be unchecking after selecting. In both cases, you will be clicking on it. So let's see now. This will, I'll do one more thing. Hold on. Okay. Let's open the case type. We have to call this flow action, right? This is the case type. See here. Open user details process. After customer details, we'll collect address details. After customer details, I'm collecting address details of the customer. Now here you go. What is this? Address. And here you go now. చెప్పండి. So additionally, I'm going to do one more thing. Okay, first let me explain you the reason why I have to do that. And if you create a case and test it, why I am not getting a scroll bar this side? చాలా చిన్నగా వస్తుంది scroll bar. Okay. See, if I am going to create a case and test it, the screen will not get loaded. I will show you. You will not be able to imagine. This is the second screen. What are we expecting in this screen? We want billing address, shipping address sections to be loaded. You remember billing address section and shipping address section. We are loading those two sections by using page references. You go to clipboard now. By the time it loads, clipboard should have those two pages. Under PY work page, billing address and shipping address pages should be there. Under PY work page, billing and shipping address pages are not available. So when you are loading the sections by using page references, those pages are not there on the clipboard. That's why sections are not loaded. Understand everyone? So to avoid this, I'm going to do a workaround. Double click on customer details flow action connector. At the time of practicing, you should understand why we have done this. Into the flow action connector. set properties billing address dot address line 1 is equal to empty initially. Later you will enter the text anyhow. Similarly, one property on each page I am setting with a value. If one property you set with a value, at least the page will get created. So doing this, the pages billing address and shipping address will get created on clipboard by the time address screen loads. By the time address screen loads. Understand everyone clear? Let us test it now. Create a case and test it now. Just hold on. Loaded. What is the reason it was loaded now? Previously it did not load. This time you see clipboard PY work page should have billing and shipping address. Billing page, shipping page created. Otherwise it would not load. While you are loading sections into another sections by using pages, then and select this. This is what I am expecting, right? This is what I am expecting. Suppose after I select this, it has become read only, correct? Now I realized that okay, shipping address to be a different one than this. What should I do? Now I am going to uncheck. The moment you uncheck, it is wiped out and coming to editable mode. This is the second property set which we have done. Otherwise, in the data transform, otherwise means if checkbox is unchecked, all that shipping address should become blank. And anyhow, when condition will fail, it will come to editable. Okay. So this is the requirement which we would like to implement. Okay. This is done. You will get this type of requirements with it. Same requirement for address copying. We can also use activity. Instead of data transform, you can even write activity. But which one is best practice? Data transform is best practice. Why data transform is best practice than activity?
We can call it multiple places.
Enandi?
We can reuse it in multiple places.
Data activity either reuse చేయలేము. You cannot reuse activity multiple places.
I mean, like, yeah. I mean, wherever you are doing the property set, so it is advisable to use.
I will create one activity with one property set. I will call this activity wherever I want property set. That is also same thing, right? Why data transforms are better practice than activities? Huh?
Activities
Most
in a separate
frequently
thread.
asked interview question.
Activities run in a separate thread.
Activities
Runs in a separate thread.
అలా ఏం లేదే. There is nothing like that. Just think about it. And next, after data transform, next we are going to discuss about validation rules. What is the next topic? Validation rules. Okay. I will give you overview of validation rules in next to 20 minutes. Did we discuss about this? All right. I think in the assignments you might have been given as a research. Okay. What you have already done is validation only. Okay. I'll tell you what is the meaning of validations. Any questions, any doubts so far? Anyone has? The practical which we have done. Okay, name of the addresses you can give like this. Just hold on. Someone was asking this. This is where we have embedded, right? This portion You can double click on it, scroll down, you see header text, and what you give? Billing address. And what about this part? If I want to collect 100 different address types, still it is the same. Okay, you can see this. There are different appearances also you can choose. Okay, otherwise if it is collapsing means it looks like this, collapsible. The regular one. Field set means appearance will change something. So different appearances will be there. Anyhow, appearances you can just practice it by yourself. That's not a big deal. Next, ఇంకేమైనా doubts ఉన్నాయా? Any other questions, doubts you have?
One question I have, Harsha. We did in process
You
flows.
can do this. Someone was asking, Ruchi, this property set what we have done here, we can do in the pre-processing of flow action data transfer. That is also okay, but I did not do it because I don't want to create one more data transform for this reason. Simply I did it in the connector. What is the question? Someone was trying to ask.
It was the same question actually. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, let me talk about validations part. The next topic is validations. See, generally, every programming language has this concept. It is not only Pega. You take any tool, any programming language has validations concept is there. See, validation means the expectation of a value to a given property or variable, you say. Okay, you are expecting this property to have this specific type of value, not type of value, specific value, maybe value in a range or value in a specific format. Like this you are expecting, and this is called as validation part. Suppose you have phone number or you have credit card number. What is your expectation? Credit card number should undergo with certain validations, like all numeric. First thing, what is that? All numeric, minimum, maximum 16 digits. In India it is, most of the cards are 16 digits. Okay, ఇంకేముంటాయి? Credit card is much. These are the main two things, right? And what about other things? Phone number. Similarly, phone number, all numbers, minimum, maximum 10.
CVV 3 digit.
That's not a big deal.
Limit, credit limit.
Suppose you have password. Password also you wanted to validate at least one alphabet, no special characters. Let's say, for example, minimum 8 characters. Like this, you can add some validation. Okay. And suppose age is there. Age value, I want users to enter age value 18 or maybe 65 in between. Greater than 65, we don't provide vehicle insurance directly without any medical documents. Less than 18, not at all eligible because you are a minor. This type of validations we would like to implement in our business applications. Specific to business properties will be there. General properties will be there for multiple different applications. So this is called as validation. If the validation is failing, it is not as expected, means you enter 12 age, then we display error message in the UI and request the user to enter. Suppose date of birth is there. What should be the validation for a date of birth? Minimum thing. చెప్పండి. Should not be future date. Email address. What is the validation? It should be a valid format. Something @domain.com, like this. Okay, like this. There are some validations, minimum things which we need to do, and there are some specific validations as per the business, for the business properties have to be done. Understand? So this is about the concept of validation. In general, in any programming language of like object oriented or maybe other things, you have two types of validations. First one, client side validation. Second one, server side validation. First one enti client side validation. Second one enti server side validation. అర్థమైందా? So what is the meaning of client? What is the meaning of server? Server ante easy. See, your Pega-Rules process command environment is deployed on Tomcat application server. What is the server? Tomcat server. Maybe na ante చూపించట్లేదు. Tomcat server మీద install అయింది. Okay. So that server up and running, all that you can see in this command prompt. See, usually for the actions that you are doing here, see here, now I have created a case. I entered information and I am submitting. The moment you click on submit, request will go to server, Tomcat server. Execution will happen. Server will respond back with what to be done next. So the execution that occurs at the server is called as server side execution. It is called as server side. Then what about client? See here, whenever I am going to select this checkbox, I am refreshing the section, right? On refresh, something got executed. This execution has happened on refresh. This execution has happened on submit. Submit, some execution has happened. Submit execution is server side execution. Refresh execution is browser level. Browser means client. Client means browser. So on refresh, any execution is client side execution. Okay. On submit, any execution that happens is server side execution. Suppose if you are going to implement validation logic, the validation logic gets executed on refresh, then that is said to be client side validation. If the validation logic gets executed on submit, then that is server side validation. Everyone understand what is generally client side and server side validation? Online resources.
Yes.
Can you repeat, Harsha, last statement?
On refresh, the execution that happens is client side execution. On submit, the execution that happens is server side execution. Suppose you have written some validation logic. The validation logic has got executed on refresh, then that is client side validation. The validation logic that is been executed on submit, then that is server side validation. Understand everyone? Clear? Online resources.
Yes.
Every one of you clear?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So this is about client side validation and server side validation. the topic of client side validation and server side validation is very generic. What does it mean? It is universal concept, not only related to Pega. Everywhere, wherever you go, this concept is same. So in order to implement this validations, this type of validations, Pega provides some rules. What are those rules that Pega provides? Chappan, what are those rules?
Validation rules like
Validation rule. First one, process category validate rule. Second one, data model category edit validate rule. Third one, what is the third one? Decision category constraints. Understand? These are the three different rules which are for the purpose of validation. Each one has its specific need in the business. Okay, so let's talk about this validation rules in detail. Okay, one is validate rule, second one edit validate rule, third one constraints. See, in order to explain this, I will constraints is little different. This is related to declarative processing. Okay, first we will discuss about validate rule and edit validate rule. Okay, so let's talk about validate rule now for the next 8 minutes. Process category ekkada undi idi? Sare nenu create chestanu. Process category validate test. See here, this is how a validate rule looks like. So I will give a property here just as an example, age, condition. Here you will be using functions. You know functions, right? The same expression builder functions. Some functions are already listed. You want all the functions, then you go for expression evaluates to true, then use expression builder, and then you can go for all the functions. Okay, and you can choose a function. Let's say age kada. First number relation, second number. If age is greater than 65, if it is greater than 65, I'll display a message. Senior citizens need to submit, need to upload doctor certificate, like this, are not eligible at all. Let's say submit this. At runtime, whenever the value of age is greater than 65, then this error message will be displayed in the UI. This is not only one property, one validation. You can add n number of properties here. I want to validate zip code. Zip code, and let's take expression evaluates to true. Expression evaluates to true. Length of zip code not equal to 6 means less than 6 or greater than 6. Anything is not allowed. Zip code must be 6 digits. Otherwise, if not equal to 6, I'll display error message. Some message. Message rule you can create. I'll show you how to create a message. So like this, you can add n number of properties, n number of different validation logics. So using a validate rule, we can implement the validation logic by using functions for more than one property, even one or more, depends on your requirement. Where do you call the validation rule? See, this validate rule is an instance of class rule obj validate. Validate rule is instance of which class? Rule obj validate. Means every validate rule that you create is going to get stored into a table which is mapped to the class rule obj validate. Simple. And I will be able to call this validate rule. Look at here. In the flow action, under action tab, flow action tab. I'm sorry, where is it? I'm sorry, validation. In the flow action validation tab, you will call validate rule. You called validate rule in the flow action validation tab, right? When does it get executed? The moment we click on submit button. The moment you click on submit button, validate rule in the flow action will run. In this flow action, in the validation tab, if I call the validate rule, the moment you click on submit, validate rule will get executed. And if anything failed here, error message will be displayed on the screen. Here it will be displayed. I'll show you that where it will be displayed and all. Make sense, everyone? Clear? So like this, a validate rule can be created under process category, and you can implement the logic of validation by using functions for one or more properties and define error messages. You can call validate rule under validation tab of flow action. This gets executed when we click on submit button in the screen, means as a post processing. Okay, and if any one of the validation fails, error message will be displayed on the same screen. It will not proceed forward in this case. Understand, everyone? Clear? A validate rule can also be called from another validate rule. Validate rule can be called from another validate rule. That is also possible. Validate rule can be called from flow action. Suppose you have a validation logic for 25 properties. Instead of 25, you create for 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. All 5 you call in another validate. What is the advantage of doing like this? What would be the advantage? Chapandi. Advantage
Ease of reading the rule.
You can reuse that small validations on other places. Okay, one section you are creating it as multiple sections. What is the reason? That portions of the section you can reuse. Same way everything. Okay, and validation rule can also be called from activity. Where else you can call? Technical activity. Go to activity by using a method called obj validate. What is the method? Obj validate. You expand this, and here you call validate. Suppose this activity is part of post processing activity. Then when you click on submit, activity will run. As part of activity, execution will done and validation will happen. Error message will be displayed in the UI. If it is not post processing somewhere else, then error message will be there on clipboard. Okay, so like this, validate rule can be called from validate rule, can be called from flow action under validation tab, can be called from activity by using the method obj validate. Understand? Fair enough for now. I will tell about remaining things tomorrow. I'll send you. You can wind up for today.